was already gone.
I know.
Should silence my phone. Woo. There we go. Do. Are you testing your mic? What's happening?
Sorry, I just realized I'm using this one instead of the good one.
That's where that static was coming from in that previous episode.
What?
Yeah, there was a previous episode. It wasn't last week, it was the week before.
Oh, really?
That I kept hearing. We couldn't figure out where it's coming from.
Oh, the intermittent.
Yes.
That's somebody flushing, right?
I don't think you can hear that.
No, it wasn't flushing.
Because you're right by like the pipe, aren't you?
But it's happened.
But I know that sound.
Yeah.
I know that sound. 7 years, I know that sound. Or how many years we've been at this now?
Yeah. I thought it was me, which is why I was like muted most of the time. Oh, you should have the Mario minifig.
Okay.
Since we're gonna talk about the Mario. It's so
I was actually more okay with it than a lot of other people.
It's just the voice. It just gets
I didn't have
me.
an issue with it.
Really?
I mean, could you
It's
imagine?
the last line. Hey.
Yeah, but could you imagine him talking with that Mario accent for an hour and a half?
Okay, this goes on green. There's red. There's red. Orange. Who's the missing one? Dun dun dun. There it is. Blue. Whoops.
That is a great picture of the Lego Mario. He looks exceptionally happy.
He does. He hasn't seen the trailer. No, I'm just kidding. No, I also we'll get
It wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad.
Yeah.
I played the Mario trailer from my last class of the day, before work ended.
Yeah.
And the weirdest comment out of that entire thing was one of the girls that says, "Where's Peach? She better be hot."
What?
What?
I have a very interesting bunch of students in that period. Actually, all 200 of my students are very special this year.
Okay. Try and get those.
Good to go.
I'm good to go.
Hold on a sec. Wait till my son stops clumping up the stairs. Okay. Good to go. Good to go.
What's up, Internet? It's us, the Making Geeks podcast. Podcast for makers, families, and geeks.
What's going on?
Hey, gentlemen.
I almost expected you to say, it's us.
It's a
If
us.
if I had more confidence in like my voice in different accents, I would have just went for it. But
It's
no.
us.
Yeah, you should have done it.
Why would we be talking about that?
You just want to lead with it?
Yeah, we'll just go into it. Yeah.
Yeah, let's just get into it because it
Okay.
came out today, right?
It did.
Like,
Yep.
Yeah, just a couple
Yeah.
hours ago.
They had a
I never know when stuff comes out because I'm so behind in everything. It could have come out a week ago. I would have no idea.
Yeah, Nintendo had a direct today at 4 o'clock. They were a couple minutes late with their stream, but their sole purpose was to release the Super Mario Brothers movie trailer, and they had like a lead-in with like Miyamoto and like some of the guys from Illumination, the studio producing it, and they had a little Zoom video of Chris Pratt and Jack Black doing their thing, and Chris Pratt was trying to be boastful, saying, "Oh, I've been waiting my whole life to play Mario, and I've been playing it. I've been playing the game since I was stomping Koopas in the original Mario Brothers arcade game." That's what he said. And I'm like, whoa, wait, excuse me. Actually, you can't stomp Koopas or any enemy in the original Mario Brothers game for the arcade. Thank you very much. But I let that go. And Jack Black did his Jack Black thing, which was pretty fun. And then they led into the trailer.
Wait, what character is Jack Black playing?
He's Bowser.
Bowser.
Why did it not sound like Jack Black?
Because all
For
the
some odd
voices
reason,
are-
I thought it was Seth Rogen.
they're heavily altered. The voices are heavily altered.
Okay.
Seth Rogen is actually playing Donkey Kong.
Okay. All right. I'm going to have to go back and watch it now to see if I can recognize Jack Black as Bowser.
You know what? I didn't recognize the voice. I recognized the facial expression. There's one facial expression that they have him do in the beginning, and like that is completely Jack Black's face.
The Who's Gonna Stop Me?
It's something
Yeah.
where he kind of like brings his eyes together, and that kind of look. When you see it, I think it'll stand
Okay.
out quite a bit.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and watch it. That said, what do you think? What do you think? What are your thoughts? What are your feelings?
I thought we'll just start from the beginning. The intro was really cool. I loved Bowser's intro. I loved the graphics were amazing. The lava effects and all that
That was
stuff.
some intense fire he blew out.
Yeah. And the whole storming
The penguins.
the penguin castle, that whole sequence was hysterical. If the whole movie's like that, I'm like, okay, this is fun. I can get behind that. And it's the same penguins. I'm pretty sure it's from Super Mario 64. Like, that's what I think of, is the little
Oh, yeah.
snow penguins that you race down the embankments and stuff. And, good. Look like you were going to say something,
sorry.
Sean.
Well, I will, but I didn't want to interrupt either.
No.
All I was going to say is that I do have an opinion about it, but I feel like I have to like defer everything to Wes because I have no authority and no real deep knowledge of anything other than just looking at it for what it is as a potential film, because I don't know much about the deep Mario lore. I have not even played all the games. Probably only played about half of all the Mario games. I've never played Sunshine. I've never played Galaxy. I never really played 64. I haven't played Odyssey. So I really don't have a whole lot of deep knowledge of anything. All I know is that trailer, or they call it a teaser, made me want to throw on some VR goggles and walk around that world because I want to live there.
Just the movie poster that they released, kind of like leading up to it.
Fantastic.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had like an antique shop and it had all the power-ups from Super Mario 3 in the window. It was awesome. They had like yeah, they had there was like for Donovan, who clearly has been under a rock this last week. They had a poster of him like his back to the screen, and you can like see up this gigantic mountain. It's like kind of like Main Street USA, but Mario. And they had like a cheap fish market in the background. They had like an antique shop that had like the musical blocks and
from Mario Brothers 3.
the P switches. Yeah, from Mario 3.
The POW barrels.
They're gonna
Oh
have
my
so many
gosh.
like references and stuff in this thing. It's gonna be crazy. And for some reason, when they first announced this movie, I swear that they said it was gonna be live action. Didn't they say that? For some reason, it seems like the internet thought that. No?
I
Well,
never thought that.
I can almost guarantee that it is going to be live action I think that scene
You think
where
that's
Mario
why?
appears.
Right. You think he was like live action into that? It's sort of like a
Yep.
getting sucked into the game sort of thing.
I think that it's going to be, there's Chris Pratt being construction guy or whatever and falls into a pipe
Mm-hmm.
and ends up here.
Because there's some footage of him like with the suit on and stuff, and he even has like I saw him with the backpack from you just mentioned it, the
Sunshine.
Sunshine. Thank you. Yes, with Flood, and so he like yeah, there must. I don't know why he would have that on unless it was some sort of like mock-up that a person did, but it looked like an on-set, not authorized photo of him like having these big pants and stuff. So
And that along with the fact that Charlie Day is Luigi, and I can picture the two of them together in a live action scene together. And like always, whenever a big movie like this comes out, and it's fun to speculate. Of course, Film Theory makes a bunch of predictions, and they had a really cool prediction video about the movie. So if you like that kind of thing and you like seeing Matt Pat do his predictions, which I don't know if they're accurate, but they're really fun, and there was some deep cut stuff in it that he was referring to. Wes, I'm sure you would probably enjoy watching some of that, so I recommend checking that out. That's not my geeking out about for the week, but it's just kind of an aside given what we're talking about right now.
So Bowser lays waste to the frozen castle, and then you see Mario come out of a pipe, fall out of a pipe into a mushroomy kingdom.
Leather mushrooms.
There's a toad to greet him, which already knows who he is, interestingly. And then you see his face, which is weird. To me, it looks like Fix-It Felix from Wreck-It Ralph with a mustache on. I don't know why they just don't use Mario, his face. It's just they're almost pulling like a Sonic kind of thing, where the internet's going to be like, "Why does his face look like that?" And they're going to have to go back and change it.
Is it really that different though? It looks
His
like
eyes are closer
slightly
together
different.
or something than they're supposed to be.
Well,
They're
they're
not as
smaller.
big. Yeah, they're smaller.
The biggest thing I noticed was his mustache being fully rendered as hair, which I think that stood out to me more than the other thing.
And the internet seems to have a problem with him like not having as big of a rear end as he normally does too.
Oh, the butt.
I think people talk about like
I
does
did
it
not
really
know
matter?
what that was.
yeah, he's got the students in my class. He's got no butt.
I mean, they're not wrong.
The things that people notice though.
Maybe he's just clenching them because he's scared. I don't know.
Right.
It's clenching the cheeks.
And then he talks. So what, Donovan? What do you have to say about this trailer? You haven't really said much.
Okay, yeah, because we talked about this a little bit in the beginning. I'm not saying that I want Mario's voice from the games
That would be
throughout the
tiring.
entire movie.
Yeah, it would be.
No, it would. And Mario, I mean, the lines of dialogue Mario has in game, we could probably count on our fingers, because he doesn't talk. But I don't know. It was still kind of weird because that last line, it almost sounded like he was trying to sound like Mario from the game.
But kind of like a New Yorkie kind of one. It was like a New Yorkie accent.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be on purpose because of the origin of where they're going to take him.
Right.
Yeah, because like the MatPat video, I did watch that, and he speculates that like it is going to be New Yorkie, and that's gonna
starting at a construction site and
Which
dealing
I'm
with
fine
guy
with
called
that.
Spike, I think the guy's name
Spike.
is. Yeah.
And like the headcanon for me works because I just think of it as it's the guy from the original live action Mario Brothers TV show, you know?
Yep.
Oh,
And he was a New Yorker. He didn't really have like
get up, everybody go,
do the Mario.
do the Mario.
It's got to be like the
Oh my gosh.
the credit song right there. Do the Mario.
As hesitant, as skeptically hesitant as I am towards a Super Mario Brother movie, Nintendo has such a vice grip hold of control over everything that they do. And considering what happened with the last Mario movies, I can only imagine that they literally have like is overkill.
Yeah.
But I was like,
Nintendo
I wouldn't be
ninjas.
surprised if there's a Nintendo worker like staring over the shoulders of every single artist in the build, like, because that's Nintendo.
Sure.
they're notorious for control. And I cannot imagine that they would sign off on this if
Right.
it wasn't amazing.
I'll say that I think they picked the right animation studio for this, though.
Yeah.
I think Illumination is the right studio.
I don't know. The one that did Sonic did pretty good. I'd be okay with that too.
Sony Pictures, I think, right?
Knowing Nintendo,
Whatever.
I am awfully curious because knowing Nintendo, I'm wondering if there's going to be some kind of added element to this movie. What like to make it different, interactive?
Are they going to pull like
AR,
a wizard kind of thing where it's like a tie into a game that has yet to be announced, or have some version of a Switch that, or a Power Glove?
I couldn't help think
Yeah.
that this is not going to make its way back into a game at some point. You're building out this gorgeous world, and I don't know if there's any canon to an actual Mario world. I think Odyssey does a little bit, but I always wanted to see how one area connects to another, and if there's actually a world. And Wes is nodding yes, which I figured he would. So go ahead and enlighten us.
Well, you just reminded me that, of course, Universal has their Mario or Nintendo theme park coming out.
Yes.
In Florida, there's a Japanese variant of it that I think might even release before that. And this is just like going to whet everybody's appetite for a Nintendo World type of place. And like all these shops that you see on this main street, I mean, they could have just pulled concept art from the actual physical locations for this.
And to be honest, I would love to see an NCU, a Nintendo Cinematic Universe.
Sure, I mean Smash Brothers on the big
Smash
screen.
Brothers.
Yeah.
Well, but Smash Brothers is like an event in the world.
No, I'm just
Mario
saying like
Kart
that's
is an
their
event in the
crossover
world.
they can pull from anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Donkey Kong's already going to be in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Based on stuff that I saw, Kirby might be in the movie.
No way.
I can't guarantee it, but it's a possibility. I mean, if you're going to put Donkey Kong in there, Kirby also seems to share that universe.
Donkey Kong was in Mario related stuff.
Yeah, I know, but other than that, was there any other crossover other than that one first iteration that wasn't even thought out during that time?
I mean, besides the Donkey Kong sequels, that's
right.
Yeah,
I think Zelda. I think they will do a Zelda movie at some point, but I think it'll be a standalone thing. I don't think it'll be connected to this.
No.
Mm-mm.
I look forward to all of that.
Yeah.
I'm actually more excited for that than I am for most Marvel movies coming out.
Right.
Which is really, really sad to say.
No, it's not. You're okay in saying it.
I'm very excited for the movie. I've been waiting to see the first footages for a long time, just 'cause I love seeing what that look is going to be. And now we just got to wait for the how the Minecraft movie is going to look. What that's going to look like.
Probably the same. I would not be surprised if it looks the same. Not the same, but like
I get it.
Similar.
With Jason Momoa playing Steve.
Wait, is that like official?
Yeah, it's official.
What? What?
Yeah, he's going to be the voice of Steve.
Man, I've been out of it apparently because
I haven't heard this either.
I had no idea.
Huh.
Yep. They got it announced a couple of months back. So other than dissecting the plumber,
Yes.
what do you guys been up to?
Donovan?
Oh, you want me to go first? Okay.
Yeah, I have nothing compared to what you have. I mean,
well, I've been in Canada for the past week at a convention that SketchUp hosted called 3D Basecamp. It's a convention that SketchUp hosts every 2 years. It's been in various locations all over the world since 2005. And this particular one was in Vancouver, British Columbia. And it was creative insanity for 5 days during the event. It was tiring setting up. It was exciting participating in. It was crazy tearing everything down. But I got to spend 8 days in Vancouver, which is a beautiful city, like right on the bay, out to the ocean, mountains on 3 sides of me. I was just like, oh, the whole time, because every time I looked out the window, I got to see a mountain. I'm like, this is fantastic, and I don't know. It may just be Vancouver. It's been a while since I've been there. I've been there when I was younger, but it's been a while. I don't remember Vancouver being so glitzy. Glitzy is not the right word. Everybody there dresses super nice. Like I don't know what like clothing stores they shop at, but it is obviously not the same one that I shop at, because we every time we would like
So it's
walk
not like
around.
Oklahoma?
Not like Oklahoma at all. Oh my gosh. Every time we would go outside and walk around with other people, I felt frumpy. It doesn't matter what I was wearing. I was like, gosh, I look like the stereotypical, like, poor character that just doesn't get into this all, doesn't fit in with the crowd. Cause man, the people, it's a very rich city. It's very expensive to live there. So the people that live there are very well off. But it's just, I've never seen so many people dressed up to the nines, just walking around, just walking around, just walking around.
You know what
But
it is? It's all the leftover money they have from not having to pay healthcare out of their pocket. Sorry, bad joke.
And all the movie
No,
stars
it's
and
okay.
stuff, isn't that like a huge shooting location? So
Yeah,
maybe that's a
Vancouver
lot.
is
Yeah.
the Hollywood of the North. There like a lot of our TV shows and
X-Files
a
used to
good
shoot
portion
there.
of the movies that they show here in the United States. We're all shot in Vancouver because they have different parts of the city that are literally like set up and designed and laid out as different. You want to go to Western, you go here. You want to do outdoors, you do here. You want to do like dystopian, you do here. It's it is kind of fantastic how that entire city integrates itself in with the entertainment industry in a way that is really cool. Everybody there was really nice, really cordial. It was, I mean, it was a great experience being up there. Not to say that like that, not to take away from 3D Base Camp, because 3D Base Camp was great. If it wasn't so expensive, I would say more people should go to that event, because it's a week of training, like literally training, sitting down with people that know SketchUp, whether it's SketchUp Pro or SketchUp for iPad, or landscape architects or architects, or Tyson did one for all of his geek stuff for like prop building and things like that. But you sit down and you learn like how to do what these people do. And it's learning on a level that I wish that we had with other conventions. Because as I was doing this convention, I was like trying to compare it to like Maker Faire, Workbench Con, and all this kind of stuff. I was like, oh, this is done really well. This could be done better, that kind of thing. It was a really exciting week. I had an amazing time up there, shooting videos and talking to people. And I did a treasure hunt like Wes and I have done in the past for Workbench Con. I put one together for that event, and it turned out great. A lot of people completed it, which was fantastic. All the prizes were taken. The first guy to do it. So what happened is I set up this treasure hunt, and they can go to different locations, solve puzzles, and collect stamps that were directions for a directional lock, just like Wes and I did for Workbench Con this year. But the last two stamps and the last two directions as part of this 12 direction combination, they weren't able to get until Wednesday, when the vendors came and set up their booths and talked to people and all that kind of stuff. But there was one guy on Tuesday that kept going over to the lock and would like fiddle with it, and then walk away, and then come back and like fiddle with it. And I kept watching because I was like, what is he doing? Because I was the owner of this event, and so I was like watching over it just to make sure people didn't take it, or all the treasure chests where they were supposed to be and things like that. And I kept watching this guy, and all of a sudden he like fiddles with it and he unlocks it, and I ran over. I'm like, okay, how did you do? It's like, well, what I did is we were talking about that. What I did is I just went through every possible set of combinations for the ones that were missing until I found the one that was, that opened the treasure chest early. And I was like, that is a lot of combinations. He's like, well, okay, to be fair, I design escape rooms. So he uses SketchUp to design the mechanisms and the puzzles and whatnot that go into escape rooms around the country, and that is what he did. And so I'm like, okay, if anybody solved this early, I guess you have a pass, because this is literally what you do. But biggest compliment to that was, like, he said that, you know, he was really impressed with it and how well it was done and whatnot. So I was like, oh, thank you. It was great. But I had a great time. I was out of connection with everything. I missed anything that happened in the last week and a half, which is why I was like, hey, if Mario Brother trailer came out a week ago, I wouldn't know. So you're gonna have to catch me up on everything that I've been out on for the past week, because I've been busy, and that's what I've been doing. What about you?
I've been watching a lot of Lord of the Rings with my son. He's tracked out from school at the moment, and so we burned through the first the original movies. Sorry, I got distracted. We were burning through the Lord of the Rings movies, and this is the second time we've seen all of them, but we never watched them this closely, like compressed. So it was easy to go from one and remember all the dynamics and all the different groups and everything going from one movie to the other. So it's a little easier to remember what's going on, and for especially a kid or an adult, because some of it can get kind of confusing with the different factions, and within even a kingdom there's like multiple groups of people you have to keep track of and stuff. And that was a lot of fun. We really enjoyed it. He's super into it. He just watched The Hobbit. He's at his grandmother's for the weekend already, and he brought The Hobbit along with him and made her watch it with him. So he's all about it. So that's pretty cool. He's super getting into all this stuff. We're letting him watch Rings of Power. The last episode was kind of gory, unfortunately. More gory than I thought it was going to be.
Right.
But he thought it was kind of funny. I don't know if that's good or bad. There's like an eye socket leaking blood, almost like to a comedic like SNL skit level. I thought it was like way excessive. It wasn't even like gruesome anymore. It was just kind of like unnecessary. But we were trying to like cover his eyes, or like, you know, if you feel scared, you can close your eyes, buddy, you know, that kind of thing. He's 8 for context, and it was fine. He was all right with it, and but he's digging it. So that's a lot of fun to see, to be able to share that sort of stuff. And also, since he's been home, he's been actually interested in all my classic games. So we're going through and like, what's this game like? What's this game? And we like popped in like Dragon Warrior for NES. And he's like, wait, what? Like, what do you mean you have to like go out into the field and fight these people? And then you get, I'm like, yeah, that's grinding, buddy. You got to keep doing it. And he's like, what? It's great. It's been the some of the experiences I've been looking forward to the most with him. Sharing the geekdom.
Training a new generation.
Yep.
I've been actually working on some additional projects right now. I finally got around to building my daughter's bed frame, and even got a new tool to do it. So I got one of the Craig pocket hole jigs, but the proper one that'll clamp down the piece and you can drill. I don't know why I waited so long to buy that thing, because I drilled about 100 pocket holes in about 10 minutes. And the one I had before is the one that you have to like physically hold and then clamp on and then drill. And it would have taken me at least 2 hours to do it that way. So it was well worth the money I spent. So I'm about halfway done with that, and then I have to hurry up and try to finish that because I have to do another laser review video. So laser number 6, and that'll be coming out. Hopefully I'll have the bed frame finished this weekend. I'll do the video, and then the following week I kind of have to have the laser review video out. And also my wife has been getting a lot of commissions. A lot of commissions for tumblers and other engravings and stuff. And that's part of what I was working on before I came up. I think we got a quick cameo here.
What's up, guys?
They can't see you on the camera.
Oh, they can't see me.
Oh.
What's up, guys?
Hey, Maker's Portal! How's it going?
A quick cameo here.
Oh yeah, I can't hear them, and there's a delay.
You'll
See
hear
you
us in
later.
just a
Have
sec.
good time.
What's fun is he's usually down here downstairs on Thursdays, working with my sister on some things.
So him like messaging in the chat is literally him from the other room being like,
Yeah, I'm downstairs. Yeah.
are you guys going to WorkbenchCon next year? When he could literally open the door and be like, hey, you going to WorkbenchCon next year?
Maybe we'll do a proper invite as a guest coming up here. Yeah. Since we need those extra topic ideas anyways. Before I started recording, I was talking about having to MacGyver things. This isn't necessarily our topic, but I'm using a standard roller to do the tumblers, which is great if the tumbler is completely cylindrical. But we're trying to do these tumblers that have like a really bulbous bottom. I think they're used for like wine and stuff. They're like a little bit fancier looking. When you roll it on the roller, it kind of wobbles all over the place. So I figured out a way to put a post in the middle of the roller and hold one end up at an angle, so it rolls perfectly. So I was able to hack it just in time to engrave and get those out.
You asked the question in the pre-show about MacGyvering stuff, and I wish I had more examples of like things that I've MacGyvered. The only thing that I can think of in terms of like what I do is the K40, because it looks nothing like it did when I first got it, because I've ripped that thing apart. I've built a bed. I've like added all kinds of, air assist and 3D printed parts and whatnot, and a railing system. And so that is the only thing that I can think of that I've actually MacGyvered that would fall under being, MacGyvered.
Well, anytime you solve a problem in a slightly unconventional way is really what MacGyvering is. And I feel like I have to do that on a daily basis at my house.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm having trouble thinking of something too. Like I repaired the water main going into our house, but I used actual legit stuff. It just I didn't.
You didn't use a paper clip and duct tape?
No, not this time. Because I didn't want to spend like $4,000 to hire a plumber to run a new line in our front yard. I can't really think of anything either, to be honest.
Okay, I have an example.
The only thing I can think of that comes to mind is my most proud one is in the Navy, because I worked in the back of the E-2C Hawkeye radar plane. We had workstations that you could like plug your headset in. So I had the earmuffs that you see a sailor run around on the flight deck with, that like the helmet kind of thing, and the earmuffs. Well, mine were special because I had to jack into the like communication system, like talk like pilots wear, and talk to each other and stuff and call the tower or whatnot. And I fashioned
the airplane with the frisbees on top of
it,
it, right?
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
The one that was featured in Top Gun, the second one, yes, which was awesome. Anyways, I fashioned a cable that had one connector that was similar to what went into the plane, and on the other end it was a 3.5 millimeter jack, so I was able to plug in my MP3 player and like pump audio into one of the stations, which was, if someone wasn't sitting there, and you could hear it internally inside the airplane. And so we would like troubleshoot the radar and stuff, which can take hours sitting out there, and we would just like listen to Foo Fighters or Collective Soul or whatever, and I thought that was pretty cool. And to my knowledge, that predated like pilot. You can get that sort of stuff now, but I don't think even the pilots had that stuff at the time. And to make it even better, there's this activity that only sailors would know if they were on an aircraft carrier, and it's not as fun as it sounds, where there's no flight ops. All the lower level people, which somehow I got included in, even though I wasn't at the bottom of the barrel, but whatever, you get handed a giant like broom that has, it's kind of like it's like a toothbrush, but like really wide. It's got like really stiff bristles, and you're scraping the flight deck, like getting all the gunk and stuff. And everybody stands in like a line across the flight deck, and you kind of like march and scrub, and they spray with all this chemical crap on the flight deck, so it's all slippery. And it's, you're out there in like 110 degree weather, like in the Persian Gulf, with your float coat on and your helmet and your long sleeves and all that stuff, turtleneck, and you're sitting there scrubbing the flight deck in synchronization with all the other people. So it's like, it's like something from a Disney movie where they're like all the dwarves are working at the same time. That's basically what we're doing. It's pretty miserable, but I had that headset that everybody had to wear your cranial because it's for safety. Because if you fall and bust your ass, it's gonna hurt. So I had that thing on, and I just plugged it into the MP3 player, had that slipped into my little pocket, and I was just listening to tunes, and I could just do that for twice as long as the average sailor. So that's my extended answer for a short question that I am most proud of. Unfortunately, I lent that thing to a sailor friend of mine that after I got out of the military, he was still in. And I'm like, sure, buddy, you can use it. And he lost the flipping thing. And I would love to have that as like a piece of memorabilia. And that just irks me to this day. But yeah, I'm super proud of that.
It's a cool story.
Thanks. It's called Scrubx.
Did you guys get fined if you played the Top Gun soundtrack?
That's a good question. I don't know.
I'm only asking because at Top Gun, supposedly there's a fine if you ever reference the movie. I don't know if that's true or not.
Oh, interesting.
That gets said quite often.
Is it like playing Stairway to Heaven in a guitar store?
They're a pretty easygoing crew. When we left port in Norfolk, I was on the USS Enterprise, and we played the actual original, theme song as we left port. I thought that was like, all right, I'm on a good ship.
Are you talking about the Top Gun theme song or the Enterprise theme song?
The Enterprise original series theme song when we left port.
Yeah.
When we were going on a 6-month mission that ended up being a lot longer.
Yeah, that is cool. We should just do an episode of West Navy stories.
Oh, yeah, okay. We should do that. We'll put a pin in that.
We'll put a pin in that?
Yes.
Called Navy Talk.
Navy Talk.
See, and I like hearing it because those are all the stories that I would have understood better and had the experience of if I didn't get disqualified from the military. Because I was all set to go into the Navy for electronics.
We could have been.
So would you have done the same thing? Like the same thing West?
I don't know. I don't know if the job would have been the same.
We'd like to think so.
Okay.
Because were you more aviation or electronics?
I was strictly aviation. Aviation electronics, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I was qualified for that same jobs. I don't know which way they would have pushed me, probably based on me, because my ASVAB score was high enough, and that's what I wanted to get into because that's what I was interested in at that time.
Highly likely.
I wanted to get into electronics. Although I would have been in a couple years before West, because I would have been in 1995.
Oh, yeah. You would have been senior to me, so I would have been annoyed by you probably.
Or salute me.
That's right.
I forgot, did we have a topic that we were going to talk about?
I don't know. What was that topic?
You said something.
Oh, we were talking about going on to conventions, but we kind of already covered that. I have a convention I'm going to this weekend, since it's in the spirit of what we were originally going to talk about. I'm going to IRF, which is the East Coast Rep Festival. It's in Maryland. It's a 3D printing conference. The last one they had was before the pandemic. Then they had a couple virtual ones since, but this is the first in-person one since then. And apparently they sold out all the booths and tables and stuff. And last time Joel Telling came and some other 3D printing celebrities, quote unquote. So I'm just curious who's going to show up this time. But
Neil Patrick Harris, maybe.
Right, that crossed my mind. Yeah. Good.
Chuck Hellebuck will probably be there, I'm sure.
Yeah. And Thomas Salander, I think his name is. And I think Angus even came last time too. Yeah. And we had Joseph Prusa was there. I mean, it was like,
is it always in Maryland or is it somewhere else?
The East Coast one is in Maryland. There's a Midwestern one, which is the bigger one, called Murph.
Maybe that's what I was thinking of. Yeah, I was thinking about that one.
And that one I think moves around a little bit, but it's usually in the middle of nowhere. So I'm surprised Donovan's never gone. But this one is in Maryland, and last time it's close enough where you can drive to a couple other little interesting places. Like there's Printed Solid, which is a filament manufacturer. And they used to make a lot of specialty filaments and stuff, and they had their headquarters near there. So we had like an after party one night. We went out there. This is 2019 or something.
West, the party animal.
Oh yeah, you know me. Yes.
Yep.
But I'm going, and Turi from When Geeks Craft, we're gonna carpool and go up there, and I'll report back and see how it was.
And it's not quite public knowledge yet, but there are some efforts to create a West Coast Rep Rap festival, so we might have the whole country covered, maybe by the next year.
Did you say West Coast or West Coast?
West Coast, but hopefully West will be here, so it could be West Coast.
There you go. All right, that works.
The
West and
West
West.
Coast.
Yep. West and Worth. West at Worth. West and Worth? West at Worth.
Okay, so while Donovan tries to figure out how that's going to sound, see how long we've been recording.
You know, something I totally forgot. I put out a video. Apparently, it was forgetful even for me. But I just put out a video. And talking about MacGyvering stuff, Tyson, who works at SketchUp, celebrated 18 years with the company. And I talked about this before, doing the Borderlands style lightsaber and wanting to do parts of the video like the game, like having an overlay in the first person perspective. And so I was trying to figure out like what kind of chest mount I would need to make. And I tried to do like a strap and connect my little GoPro-ish phone to a little screen so I could like look down and see. And nothing was working. And so finally I was like, I should try and 3D print something. So I 3D printed like a half circle with the mouthpiece on it. And I held the thing on my mouth. So if you've seen the end of the video, you can see me with the little mouthpiece thing. And it worked out great. It looks first person-ish and like with looking around, like it follows the head movements. Works fantastic. You look ridiculous while you're using it, but it works fantastic. The video I thought was super fun. I had so much fun with it. I enjoyed it. I don't think it's hit 300 views yet. It's still in the 200 range, so it has not performed at all.
It was a fun video at the release.
Yeah, fun. It was fun. I had fun with it. I'm not ashamed of my video. Yeah. So that happened.
I thought it was awesome. I enjoyed it. I can't imagine all the looks you got.
Yeah. People are asking for behind the scenes of like me making videos like this. I was like, I should. Cause
Patreon subscribers.
Yeah, I know. I'm terrible at like doing benefits for Patreon subscribers, which is why I've lost most of them. But behind the scenes would be fun to put together.
Yep. What are you guys geeking out about?
I'm geeking out. Let's see. Lower Decks was a lot of fun. The last couple weeks have been fantastic. Every episode, did you see this week's, Donovan?
Areola.
Oh my god.
I was like,
So
there.
they have this like foul-mouthed AI like robot thing that was part of a plot point in I think last season. And I honestly kind of forgot about it, and I think most people did. And then it comes around, and it's like, it finds its way to some pre-warp planet, and it's basically Moana in space, essentially, that it lands on. So like the plot points of Moana was basically that episode, but it was really funny, super funny. If you have Paramount Plus, I highly recommend it. It's very brash, and like they're like the previous episode they had like a Starfleet convention like table they had a table for Starfleet at a convention, and they're trying to like recruit people to join Starfleet, and it was hysterical, the stuff that was happening. It's just so funny. And they have so many crossovers and so many like deep cuts that I don't even get. Like some of them I'm like having to pause. I'm like, wait, that's probably a reference to something. But usually I'm usually on board with them. But it's great. It's a lot of fun. Unfortunately, it's not for kids, even though it is a cartoon. But I'm excited about potential crossover with Strange New World that's supposed to happen. They're saying, like, they haven't announced it, but people are, hypothesizing that it's going to happen between
They're
Strange New
they're
Worlds
the
and Lower Decks.
at the end of this season, aren't they? Or close to the end of the season?
I think so.
Hmm.
So if you haven't checked it out, definitely do it. If you like Trek stuff. I don't know why you've been waiting this long, but go do it.
Yeah, my 7-day free trial turned into more than 7 days just because of that show. Oh my gosh. I'm geeking out about Andor, which is a phrase I did not expect to say because it's a Star Wars project, and I have not been impressed with anything Star Wars lately. But oh my gosh, Andor it's so good. Like it's so. I'm having a hard time hating it because I don't hate it because I like it.
Donovan will try.
There's no, yeah.
While I was watching, I'm like trying to think, what can Donovan not like about this? Because it had everything that I imagined you would want, and I enjoyed it. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. Like the cinematography for one is just absolutely amazing. The framing, and there are a couple shots during this most recent episode. I'm not gonna spoil anything because Wes hasn't seen it yet, but I'm just like. That is amazing. That is like the whole episode is like every frame we're painting. It's just fantastic. But I do really like how they're focusing on the characters, and it's not a plot driven show. So it's kind of a slow burn. It is a little bit of a slow burn. But you can tell what they're doing is that they're starting to like there's all of these separate storylines in Andor with all these different characters that they're slowly trying to twist and bring together that I'm sure in the last episode 13, they're doing 13 episodes this season.
Yeah.
That episode 12 and 13 are just going to be like blow everybody's mind. But just the attention to detail and character and story that they're putting into this has just been amazing. I've been blown away at just how good it is. I have been geeking out hard about Andor because it's fantastic. It really is.
Very cool. I'm going to mention two different things. One, I'm not geeking out about. It's more like a PSA to maybe tread carefully because it's so bad. And the other will be my geeking out about. I tried watching the new Monsters movie by Rob Zombie. And I say tried because I think I made it 10 minutes into the movie and I had to turn it off.
Really?
It was atrociously bad. Now, if anybody out there is listening likes it, I would love to hear from you and what you like about it. And maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm missing context. Maybe I just don't get it. That's fine. But I'm curious. I could not watch it more than about 10 minutes. The use of the really bright colors I thought was interesting in concept, but watching it for more than 10 minutes, along with everything else, actually kind of hurt my head, and had to turn it off. So I'm curious what other people's experience has been with it for anybody that's tried to watch it, because I didn't even make it into the main story of the show. Anyways, what I'm actually geeking out about is a show on Apple Plus called Mr. Corman with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. And it is a fantastic show. He plays I think it's a 5th grade teacher, and he's going through a lot of issues and anxiety and other things. And it's a very real type show, but also has this weird fantasy element to it, which is really kind of surprising because it was kind of intermittent, almost like a Scott Pilgrim type thing. So it seems all over the place, but there's this weird honesty to the storyline, and I think it's really cool. So I highly recommend that one. So that one's on Apple Plus, Mr. Corman.
You know, I highly recommend being a patron over at patreon.com/makegeeks and being among our top patrons. Jordan, Nolan, Square Splinter, and Clinton, you guys are awesome. But every patron we have is awesome. They contribute to our community that we have here on Discord and make our lives that much better. And we appreciate each and every one of them. Thanks.
Those transitions are getting more and more flawless. It's amazing. Speaking of great transitions, we all have social media that we're pretty active on. What? What did I do?
Your great transition.
No, that was the joke. It wasn't a great transition. All right, I'm glad it was funny. Mission accomplished. Here we go.
Keep going,
That's the
going.
downside
So-
of recording this podcast with
You
video
just
because they can
derailed
see.
it by questioning
Yeah,
it.
you can see our faces. I just need to cover my face next time. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. But we are all involved on social media, and we post about the stuff that we're working on, besides the stuff that we talk about here on the show, and all that. And so, if this is your first time listening to this podcast, hey, welcome. And the three of us can all be followed online. So if you want to see all the stuff that Wes is building or working on or tinkering with, you can find him at Geeksmithing. If you want to see all of the stuff that Sean is working on, especially like all the laser stuff that he's got, because if you like lasers, you will love his content. You can find him at Geek Builders, and all of the random stuff that I got going on, you can find me at Once Upon a Workbench.
And you can also find out more information about the podcast on our website, makinggeeks.com. You can listen to all of our past episodes right there in the browser. And you have an option to check out our shop with a bunch of Making Geeks themed merchandise for you to check out and possibly pick up for yourself in your home. I want to thank everybody for hanging out in the live chat. It always makes it a lot of fun seeing the comments going on during the show. And if you'd like to be part of that awesome group, we record every Thursday evening, 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central, and 6:30 Pacific if you want to be part of that awesome group. And we have new episodes of the podcast come out every Saturday morning on your favorite podcast player of choice, especially when I figure out how to upload the right file. It'll come out on Saturday morning like it should. And other than that, we hope you have a great week. So from all of us, all of you, have a great night.
See y'all later.
Night.
See you.